Suppose you picked up a Microsoft mouse in 1985, and this was originally released in 1983, but this is the package that you would have gotten. And on the back, it advertises all the exciting features of controlling your computer with a mouse, which was brand new at the time. And it's fascinating looking at this. The requirements were 64 kilobytes of RAM, as it says on the side there, and DOS, and a single diskette drive. Um, this could be operated on any, DOS compatible, IBM compatible machine back in those days, as long as it had a serial port. Inside, I mean, they put a lot of detail into the packaging compared to the average product back in the day, if you remember. A lot of them were just kind of plain cardboard boxes, but this one, they've actually literally put this insert of foam inside that's actually written with the fancy script Microsoft on it, and it came with a nice binder that, as you can see here, the binder is just really beautiful compared to the standard binders of 1983 and 85 kind of range. And this particular model is the serial version, so it didn't come with the controller card like the import mouse version did. And in there you get this little brochure, and you get in there, it's got a little letter from Microsoft saying, a message from us about the exciting new world of using a mouse. And it comes with a little note on how to use this with Microsoft Word and other programs that were available at the time. And they also included a lot of other little literature, including your how to find help and registration. And interesting, their location at the time was Bellevue, Washington. So they weren't in Redmond yet. This is really early Microsoft that we're seeing here. And somebody had included a README on an updated Microsoft mouse driver that they'd printed out and teared off the edges and then stapled it. And of course, the original diskettes, which of course came with a license agreement if you opened that package. And so in there you'll find the original diskettes that also had the special labeling. It's fascinating that they don't even say the date on the discs like a lot of later discs did. And yeah, the manual breaks down pretty basic stuff, but it even talks about how to use it on an old IBM 3270. It documents how to install and set up the mouse. Kind of really fascinating just to peel through the pages and see how they've laid this out piece by piece by piece in a 3-ring small binder, just like DOS came. So they kind of mirrored that same look of the DOS books and the same size as the DOS box, I guess, so it could sit on the same shelf. But yeah, it breaks down the hardware requirements of a serial mouse, and a Hercules monitor as a minimum requirement, and breaks down the different programs that came with the Microsoft mouse, including the Paint program, and there's more on how to use the mouse, the Notepad program, which we'll get into possibly in a future video. But it's really fascinating piece of history. But yeah, I mean, that's that book in a nutshell. It's also shows some screenshots actually, which was kind of interesting. Of course, back then I'm sure they weren't even photos; they were digital representations of what the software looked like when it was running, because they obviously couldn't do a proper screenshot to printer the way we can today. But you can see, there's PC Paintbrush, for example. But yeah, either way, maybe what we'll do is have a look at the hardware mainly here. And but yeah, beautiful book. Really just kind of, they put a lot of attention into that. But here's the mouse. So the mouse itself is really, really crude compared to today's design. But this one hasn't yellowed yet. They had a steel bearing instead of a rubber ball, and a 25-pin serial, which is kind of funny because that's what serial ports were back then. But of course, later they went to 9-pin. They're not even using all the pins in the 25. But yeah, the cardboard insert actually says there, you know, if this was the import version, it would have came with a card, and they would have planted it in that little extra spot there, and they embossed it with their logo. And yeah, the mouse itself has a lot of attention to detail. It's got a bit of a matte finish to it, and that chrome ball at the bottom, which we'll get into how well that works on a flat surface. Anyway, that's a little bit of an unboxing for you.